Mike and the boys are setting up with the corner guards, trying to get their 2 points. So, and that one just made it over the hog. So, again, they just. So
we're working, like, so there might be some trying to adjust that.
So we've got the come around center guard. It's going to be interesting to see with those somewhat staggered front end, those guards at the front, how this is going to play out. Nice weight. Yeah. Five rocks in play. Mike's electing to start clearing out the front. We'll have to be curious to see what happens here, how the that was the play for sure. So we'll see. Sean asked Gary just to replace the center line guard, and we should see a flurry. Over curled just a little bit. That's going to give Mike the opportunity. Well, that's what he's calling it. He's looking to do the hit and roll, maybe board weights. Trying to hold it for line.
Looks like it might be around those guards.
Yes. Oh. Yes. Yeah, Adam tried to give it a little bit of foot English, but couldn't help it across. Okay, well that was some of my best work I just did the last 8 minutes, so okay, I guess we'll have to start over again. Welcome everybody to the 2022 men's MoPac Playdowns at the Tempe Club.
Looks like are they lining up a draw?
No, with that unfortunate miss from Adam just over curling a little bit, Sean's going to be putting up another center line guard, and with the two staggered guards on the right, they can certainly afford to have this one a little bit more left of center. Maybe just biting the left side of the center. That's why Josh has. Adams. So this is gonna, with that same ice, should make that yellow available. Certainly don't want to give Sean the ability to hit and roll in behind cover. That's hanging up there just a little bit. You might catch a piece. A touch steep. You know, if Sean just hits it and sticks it and just nuts it, there may be an opportunity for Mike to do the play the double and count the 2. So it'll be interesting to see where this rock ends up. Hitting rolled out, kind of a save, so this would be a nice draw for the 1.
This is last shot, hammer?
Yep, this is the hammer, yep, for Mike. Going away, trying to take the 1. Looks like they're on it right away. This doesn't look like it's going to be heavy. Might be a little light.
Yeah, supers are going pretty hard. It's not going to get.
For Sean. Not sure what happened there. Yeah, I'm sure the sweepers and Mike will be talking about that.
So as you said, it's a steal of 1 for Team Tait over Team Siggins.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to head into the first and take a minute break. So maybe, could you maybe give us an update around the ring?
Well, hopefully all the guys put up the scores, but yeah, well, let's have a look. So we're on skip stones here with LeClaire. Looks like Bob is just doing a straight draw. He's going up against 2, so it's 3. It could be a steal of 3. Looks like it'll be a little heavy. Steal of 1 for Mendoza. Sheet B. Scored just okay, we stole. We got another steal on B. Thank you.
Is a Rod?
So 2 for steal of 2. 3 steal.
So it looks like they traded hits in the first couple rocks of this end.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you know, Mike's trying to, since he's got the hammer, try to blank this end. Do that. One, so they have the. This way to kind of. Now they go for the high guard. My sneaking suspicion that I didn't see the line call on that, but he may have wanted that T line in the house.
It's that heavy.
Yeah. Now yeah, so Mike's gonna now use that.
Colder, so.
Huh?
Bullshooting our sound issues.
I'll check that. Your best.
Not picking up.
So they can.
I'll probably go out there. So.
Okay.
I guess I should bring the iPad with me. just so I can test it.
Yeah. I'll wait here and actually get a 40 creek. there for Siggins. It started out to be a blank, ended up to be good.
Back. Yay. I say yay because the audio is done. There's something that we're working on.
Looks like get thing he can hear clear, but I think we're still a little quiet.
It is a little quiet. I'm turning the sound up as much as I really dare. But now it's coming through. I think if we just talk normally, conversationally, we should be okay. Alright, so as we drop the mic.
Sorry about that.
So just catch us up on the action. What happened in the last end?
Mike and the team drew down for a second shot, so it took two in that end. So we should see Tait throwing up the corner guards. Looks like.
So we have a guard and we have a rock in the center.
Yeah, I think that guard was supposed to, or that guard, the yellow guard, was supposed to be curling around the red stone, and that's kind of a no-no. You never really want to draw around your opposition stone because they just run it back. So,
especially early in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I didn't see there's actually a red stone of Team Siggins on the red segment of the rings. I didn't see that. So.
Oh, that one's just put there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So what happened was that Siggins' team did a soft hit, a takeout, and it rolled to the red.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Very good. So they're going to try to hit and roll here behind cover. Even if they know hit this, it's not the worst thing, but then that will give Mike the opportunity to hit and roll behind cover.
Made some contacts.
Yeah, not shy on the weight for sure, just to get the roll. So
hit and stick definitely.
So you're gonna allow Mike to, every time they hit this rock, obviously they move it further and further out the ring, so it's gonna be less useful. You really need something to make a hit and roll here. Beyond the rings.
Let's see. There looks to be Gaddy with his delivery.
Sweepers like it, just looking at it.
Made some contact. It's going to roll. It's going to roll the other way.
A little too firm.
Out of play.
So we'll see. Sean's still trying to go behind that red guard, which is dangerous.
As you were saying last night, though, it's like that's how you kind of generate offense is playing behind the guard.
Yeah, but you typically want it to be your color.
True.
Yeah, because if he makes this perfectly, then that's going to set up Mike the ability to run it back and stick it, and then Mike will be potentially, shot with his own rock as a guard. So, but again, it is better than nothing.
Weight looks maybe a touch light. Actually, no, it's coming down from there.
Looks like Gary sweeping it in. Gary from North Bay.
North Bay of Arizona?
Well, a little bit norther than that, yeah. North Bay, Ontario.
That's Northern Ontario, if I remember correctly. They had the Women's Worlds there.
They did, yeah.
Jennifer Jones won her last World Championship there, and Jamie Sinclair finished 4th, losing the bronze medal game to Russia, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Don't ask me about any other Women's World, but that's the one I remember.
hanging out there a little bit. Starting to make the turn and contact.
It's going to be maybe a corner freeze. That's just going to just kind of glance off. Russ Howard would be going wild about gear effect at this point.
I think what they were trying to do there is just to put something on top of that yellow, just to limit Sean from being able to score his news. So this is going to be an important shot. You're going to want to obviously hit and roll a little bit to Sean's right. To his left as we're looking at it now.
Yeah, it looks tight. Actually, they do want to maybe they're trying to hit it on the left side of the red rock and maybe roll. Actually, the line is great. Hit the stick, but it looks to be a gimme double, depending on the level of skill that these teams have.
Yeah, both are accomplished, so the double certainly there. It looks like Mike's going to double him off and roll his shooter away from him.
Now, ideally, if you don't have the hammer, you want to try and force the other team to one, depending on the situation of the game. But in this case, just getting rid of those yellow rocks would be an advantage for Siggins.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, right now, there's terms you might have heard where you're going for a soft 2 or a hard 2. At this point here, Tait would be going for a soft 2. So if it happens to get manufactured and 2 rocks get to be in play, then they're going to take it. But it's not ideal because they didn't make the most of the first and the 4 rocks. Looks like they called a timeout. They called a timeout.
The technical timeout is here.
Technical timeout, yeah.
So who is the ice?
Mark is the guy. Mark used to curl a lot of years up at the Granite Club. He's gonna.
Sheet C.
We need you on sheet C, Mark. Yeah.
It looks like game on. So maybe not a technical timeout or whatever issue is resolved.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't use the eye of the hog, so it wasn't a handle problem. But it looks like we got a little lucky there. We're just removing the 1 stone. So at this point, Sean's going to want to hit that on the low side or right of center and try to roll in, try to stack those yellows. Stack those. Clearly enough.
They got the hit.
They did, yeah, but they set up a nice juicy double. So you got to think Adam is licking his chops right now. Yeah, that's the call.
Shots underway.
Travis is just watching as it goes.
Watching,
yeah.
Not laying a broom on it.
No, and if it was me, I'd be sweeping that. Just a nice clean all the way. A lot of newer curlers, they've always, maybe you've had this experience, right, where you play against a skip and you go down just to clean the path and you say, whoa, right off, don't touch it. It's the sweeper's job to make sure a rock doesn't hit. For every newer curler, that's a really good habit to get into, is just a light clean in front of the rock, and statistically you're not doing anything to the path, to alter the path of the speed. So, but it's funny how many skips just think as soon as they see a boom down, something bad is happening.
Oh, and the other issue is that sweepers also need to be ready to go hard at a split second's notice. And so if you have the broom already on the ice, even if it's say go. There's always some debate at the clubs, like what word are you saying? Are you saying go? Are you saying no? Are you saying
whoa, go? Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's definitely led to some communication, like what are you saying? But communication is so important on these teams.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's part of a lot of the teams that are going to try to make a run for the Nationals or try to do something in the region. Typically, get together and they create a charter where they say, okay, the third is going to deliver all the bad news to the front end, or when I'm know, when the skip's having a bad night, you know, here's the word he wants to hear that's going to snap him out of it, or she. So there's this whole, you know, charter that gets written in the team, and a lot of that is communication. You know, do you want it to curl, or do you call it names? Some teams, you know, resort to whistling if it's too loud. You know, we had the opportunity to play with the Olympic deaf team for a few years when we were in Scottsdale, and a lot of them, you know, obviously because they can't speak, you'll see the broom shake. So again, it really kind of drives the point of it.
Got one.
Yeah, it overcurled just a little bit. And it's sort of hidden, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult for Sean. So here's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Now you've got, you know, Siggins being shot stone behind a red guard. That's a perfect situation for them. So now it's forcing Sean to now he's got to go away from trying to score 2. Now he's going to have to deal with that either that rock out front, try to run double.
Now they're looking at it. They're treating it as a shot rock. From the overhead camera that we have in the warm room, it looks really close.
Yeah, I'd say it's yellow. They may be able to, you know, throw like a board weight, hack weight shot, chip it out enough, and maybe roll their shooter so it's biting the forefoot on that left side.
Now they're looking at the other side of the. Or further to the right side of the house.
So they must think they're shot. Maybe they're thinking if they can just draw behind, you know, second shot, the full 4, which isn't a bad play.
Well, and this is the first of the Skips Rocks. Team Tait. Well, actually, it'd be the second because Team Tait has a hammer, I believe. Or do they?
Well, it looks like they're up there. 1 or 2.
I have it backwards. No, do I?
I don't think I've seen Sean throw 2 yet.
No, Tait has the hammer. So this is
the first one.
This is his first. And that means Siggins threw his first skip. I was supposed to try to keep track of all the skips.
Oh my goodness, yeah. You're a better man than I am.
I went to a world, like a big event. You have like 4 sheets on the ice, and you're trying to watch competitive curling. And it's tricky to make sure that you're keeping track of all the key shots in the game.
I'm not sure this is not what they wanted. So they got a staggered guard now, which really protects that red stone that's shot 2. So Mike does have the opportunity here now to throw again a hack waiter, you know, a board weight shot and get to the low end, the low side of that rock. And for those who don't know, the low side of the rock is the right side of center. High side is the left side of center as you're looking at it. So if you can get to the low side, roll behind cover, that rocket shot just through, and come back and bite him a little bit.
Well, and the other thing is that also, like, by plainly removing the rock that's at the back of the forefoot, it just shrinks that scoring area and forces Tait to just pretty much draw for 1, I would think.
Right, which would be a win for Siggins as far as their end plan. You know, to hold the on him off. He seems to like it.
It's yes, curling is pretty nice.
Needs to curl a little bit. He's able to get it out, so it's going to be a force. So now Tait, you know, it's funny how just a couple errant shots can change the whole thing. A minute ago, 4 rocks ago, 2 wasn't in play. Then 2 became in play. Now 2's gone. It's interesting how in 2.5 minutes it's changed. So yeah, so now John's got to draw for 2. He's going to throw this to the sweepers.
Well, and the other thing is that the teams do have a minute break between the ends. So you kind of, we were talking about this last night, you kind of hopefully set the table of what you want to accomplish out of this end, and then hope it will build towards your game strategy.
Yes, yeah. They'll take that minute to decide if they're going to go for the hard steel or the soft steel or the hard. Being the third, I would suspect Mike's going to try to blind that end and carry the hammer into the fourth.
But of course, like I forget the exact saying, but you know, plans last as long as it takes to make them.
they overtook this one a little bit. Looks like
no.
it's settling down very nice. So
They laid off right at the right time,
they
put it
laid
right
off
on the
the
lid.
right time. Absolutely. So nice draw for Sean. I'm going to see what's happening on sheet A, B, and D.
On our sheet, the score is we're all square at 2. It looks like.
Square. Doesn't look like they've hung the score on A, so we'll get with them in a second. It's still just showing 1 for Bob. So it's over curling. Shot from Mendoza. Oh, it's 2. Like, yeah, so it's 3-1 for Mendoza. Looks like we just stole. Sorry, it's 3-1 for Leclerc. I'll get this right at some point. Usually I have a little cheat sheet. All right. We don't know. Score hasn't been updated in B yet.
Pretty nice takeout on sheet C.
What is this? Looks like it's another 1 for Raju on sheet D against the Bass Rack rink from Utah. This can be
This event so far.
well. Remember, they came here to learn, so they've done lots of learning in 2 days. But yeah, they're talking to Greg last night. They weren't really concerned about the scoreboard, but they wanted to just kind of learn, play on good ice, play at maybe a higher level than they're used to, on Thursday night. And again, everybody, and we sort of talked about it again last night, everybody on the sheet's very gracious and willing to help, and even though the scores has been a little lopsided against Greg in the rink, the attitudes are still pretty positive out there.
Like a lot of teams enter the events with different goals in mind. If you feel like you're a top tier team, you might entertain it's like we want to win. But if you are a newer team or just wanting to test the waters with a higher level of competition, you might go like, let's see how we do. Let's see if we can win a game. Let's focus on making our shots on dedicated eyes.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've all been there. There's no easy magical teleportation from, hey, I really like curling. I've done 3 Limerick curls and I play in 1 league. So all of a sudden, boom, I'm in the nationals. So you've got to take this path, and we've all done it.
And some of the top level curlers have been curling since they were 6 or 7, or they tried it because their parents did, and then they left the sport, and then they tried other sports. Like, I'm coming back to curling.
Right, right, yeah, absolutely. And we find that a lot with obviously the southern curlers. A lot of the southern curlers, like Wine Country, a lot of our Arizona teams only started curling once we got here. So we've got a lot of late bloomers.
And that's also why a lot of American curling 5 events And the common joke is, are these kids ages 5 and under?
Yeah, when they all show up with like hippie beards, and you're like, Mom, you're 5 years. But you know, with so much curling online now, and kudos to TSM and Curling Stadium, Jerry Kurtz and the guys. There's so much curling online now. TSM with all their World Curling Tour, WCF. There's so much curling now that a lot of the 5Us are coming into the game at such a higher level of comprehension of the game versus 5-6 years ago. So we need to keep that going.
And for me, I started watching curling in 2002 or so.
French channel, and then one was always static. What do we got going on here? So it looks like that red rock that's on the shot rock isn't going to go away anytime soon.
It's very cozy behind the lots of covers.
It looks like Mike's trying to use it. There's a little bit of on the intern draw going away from that wall. There's a little more curl. So I think he's going to try to use that curl effect from the wall. So I suspect we'll see Sean try to tuck one in maybe behind the tee line. So that's interesting. So he's calling a slash, the run double.
Well, Siggins has a hammer. They're sitting one. One's undercover, and so then they put up what's effectively going to be a center guard. I mean, a corner guard. Sorry. And so I guess they really want to try and for Tait to try and maybe remove the shooter and basically trying to remove one of the avenues of attack from Siggins, perhaps.
Well, yeah, I think the upside here is that if they can do that run double with the yellows and stick it, great. If Gary managed to take off that high guard, and leaves that shorter yellow run available, that's going to force Mike to want to do something. So they put Sean. Sometimes we call that a setup shot. Not going for the kill yet. We got to do 2 or 3 moves ahead of time to set it up.
So they cleared the guard.
Cleared the guard.
They rolled over and tapped the corner, the red corner over a little bit.
It's a good result. Wait, now they got that yellow rock off the center. They can just do some control zones to protect that back if they have to. See that? It's going to force Mike to looks like he's trying to draw around to have him shot. Close. There he goes. Here's the break point.
So about how far have you been able to sweep a stone, or how far have you been able to see others sweep a stone?
140 feet. And then I yell at whoever just threw it. Yeah, no, we've done a lot of work with, the smart blue and whatnot. And, the good sweepers, can really take a rock. Probably an extra 5 feet, 6 at the most. But, when we work with the smart blue, we can find out. And we usually go from the back line to the hog. And that's only 30 some odd feet. And we find that the amount of downward force and the brush head speed dramatically drops. So really, most curlers are only good for at least 3 feet max. So when you have to sweep it, and and a lot of sweepers make the mistake of, as soon as the rock is thrown out of the thrower's hand, they get on it. Again, you're only gonna. When we did the smart broom exercise, you're only good for. We would go 30 feet, but you're only good for 3 or 4 of that, and then. rock should go at least halfway down the sheet before it starts to break. And it's usually better to have the sweepers wait until it crosses that halfway point. And that's why you'll see now for a lot of the sweeping techniques now where just the one sweeper who's on the rock, the rock is curling in towards them, sweep, so that when the rock begins to break, you can now bring in that second sweeper who's done nothing other than call the weight and help over the line. They're fresh. So now you really increase that effective sweeping range. There's a lot of science. Schuster and the boys. There's a lot of teams have done a lot of sweeping analysis to try to figure out what works.
So for some people who aren't entirely knowledgeable of the Smart Broom, could you maybe explain what that project was about?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So the Smart Broom is a broom that has a bunch of electronics inside the brush head, and there's a plate inside that measures the downward pressure, the PSIs of the force against the ice, as well as of the back and forth strokes, almost like a metronome. So you can, people are stronger when they push away from their body because they're leaning on the rock. So you'll see when you do that analysis that your downward force, let's say 80%, and then when you're bringing it back, because obviously you can't be leaning on the rock anymore, so you have to kind of hold yourself up, and then the pressure is at 20%. And then what happens when you got that 80 down, 20 up, 80 down, 20 up, you get sort of, if you can picture it, the edge of a sawtooth, where it's at a 45 and it comes back straight, and it's 45 and comes back straight. And you'll see what a lot of the big sweepers we have out there, and the board, the Prads, the Moldings, guys in the States that are really good sweepers, they've been able to increase the amount of downward force and 40-50 back, still holding.
Or actually, Tait had a pretty nice takeout in the last rock, and then Siggins did pretty much a draw. I don't know if they tapped out one of the yellows.
It's an interesting. Sean does have a choice here. It looks like he's indicating he wants to just sort of freeze onto that, depending on the ice. Oh, he's trying to do the hit and roll. Yeah, with that ice, it's fairly narrow. He's trying to hit and roll behind cover, and he's got those two yellow and the red outside the rings to hide behind. Try to force, hold my position.
And this is Siggins. This is Tait's last. That makes sense.
Good shot. Kind of off the hook a little bit. And the interesting, I think that yellow that's right in front of them, that is right. Now they're probably debating whether they clean it out and just blank the end or. Hidden blank.
Yeah. So they definitely, the weight needs to be pretty high to make sure that they roll out. Either.
That's the way to not miss it for sure. Because it's only nibbling, you can throw just a normal control weight. Depending on, there's some teams that once they get past 8 seconds on speed, hog to hog, you know, their accuracy goes out the window. So you have to whatever you're comfortable, but it shouldn't take much if he hits this right to roll both of them.
I was just, from my perspective, I was just like, if you hit it on the right side, you have to make sure there's enough velocity on the shooter to roll across the house,
Right.
or much of the house.
Right.
And it looks like that's what's
They're
happening.
going to roll down. Very good. So, yeah, nice blank. Nice blank. And again, that kind of goes back to our discussion last night as far as bailing. And, you know, once you know, if you have the hammer and you're trying to set up for two doesn't materialize because of a couple errant shots or something, then yeah, bailing and going for the blank is a good option.
So Siggins holds the hammer, correct? Into the fifth end?
Not yet. Oh yeah. This is the fifth end. Yeah, Sean just came in and said he broke his. He needs a new replacement pad, but he's a skip. I can't believe he broke it.
Well, and the other issue is that if we were playing by USA Curling competitive rules, that is the only room pad that they have in the game. And so he should not get a replacement pad if I understand it correctly.
Yeah. Well, good thing we're not there yet. You know, and again, I guess that kind of goes back to, you know, at this level, since it is just a step up from the league play. This is where you're going to work out those kinks.
This is lead Sean Aronson for Team Tait.
Yeah, Sean's a relatively new curler. He's been curling with us for 5 years. 5 years now, 5 years.
His bio says that he's curled a total of 6 years.
Okay.
So I don't know if that includes all of his time at Coyotes. Then his biography says that he was the MoPac Club Nationals Playdowns runner-up in 2018.
Yeah.
And then the 5 and under champion at the 5 and under MoPac in 2018.
Yeah, I guess I forget how long he's been around here. So yeah, he started right when we opened, so I guess that does make sense.
Well, and then also with the situation going on with the coronavirus, it's been a weird past couple of years.
Yeah, I think everybody's aged, a year and a half just because. Yeah, it's hard to, when we're talking calendar years or what happened in what event, like, did anything really happen in 2019? Did that year actually happen? So it seems again, so talking about last night with the opening moves, whenever the skip throws the rock in the rings, he's inviting a hit game. And so they're going to trade shots until somebody misses, and then they might try to manufacture a 2 out of it. But I think right now they're just going to be very happy to chip some rocks. This is a great way. It's actually a good strategy if you're a team that tends to talk a little bit too much. You can bank a good 2-3 minutes.
So that was the second shot from the Siggins leads. Eric Cowell. Is it Cowell or Cole? Cole.
Yeah.
He was on the first MoPac team to get a victory on the World Curling Tour.
He was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Eric's been curling with us for 6 years as well. Yeah, he started once we opened up here, and he's a real keen study of the game. And him and Travis, Travis the second there on the Siggins ring, they're both pretty good golfers, so they have that golfing mindset.
And it looks like a hit and roll out. So we have a clean sheet for Siggins is next.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, I saw it looked real like he's thinking he wants a guard now.
I think he can put up one more guard without running into the free guard zone.
But it's interesting how they started with trying to play a hit game, and let's change it up a little bit to say, you know what, let's get into the dog game. Let's get into it.
So that tour event that Cole was on, was that here at the Golden Wrench that you won, or was it another venue?
No, that was in North Manitoba at the called Super Speed.
Okay, but just this year's iteration of the event just ended a couple weekends ago, or last weekend.
Yeah. Gunner, congratulations to Gunner for winning, and on the ladies' side, do you know who won it? I know Amber Holland was in the finals. No, I think Amber Holland did win it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is John Lewis, I believe, for Team Tait?
Josh. Yep.
Josh. He's been curling for 20 years.
He has, yeah. He's a like a triage doctor, so when things go bad on a Friday, Saturday night, you can see him. So yeah, he's been trying to curl as much as he can when he's not saving lives.
And so Josh Lewis, his accomplishments go back to 2004, college curling champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a super nice guy, really active in the club there, again when he can be. And he actually started a kind of a history documentary of the club by getting together all of our old documents, getting together people who were instrumental in bringing curling to the valley, and sort of kind of put it all on a disc, so that passes, they can pull up and say, well, let's see what happened in 2003.
That's kind of one of the fun things about YouTube is that these games also last. And so you can go back about 10 years.
That's good and bad. That's good and bad.
So that was Travis Gaddy's last stop for Team Siggins.
Yeah, Travis is a good study. His better looking half, Kim Gaddy. She just won the MoPac women's rep in Tahoe this last weekend. So we usually go by the Monsters. We had a good weekend on Jane Burden's rink. So they'll be going to the Nationals, the Club Nationals, to represent MoPac.
And this shot's coming from looks to be the vice skip for Team Tait, Gary McKnight.
Yeah, Gary McKnight from North Bay. That's there's lots of Canadian folks on written about North Bay.
Yeah.
But Gary, his dad was actually in the Briar in the mid '60s. Yeah. Gary comes from a long lineage of curling in his family. So.
Well, and his accomplishments include playing down for Northern Ontario, the Tankard, which is the qualifier for the Briar.
That's it.
And that goes back to 1992.
Yeah. Plus, he's the only club member we have that looks really close like Sean Connery. So he's got that going for him. But yeah, again, nice guy, good player.
And this is a vice skip for Mike Siggins, Adam Endicott.
Yeah, Adam. San Diego or Orange County. Moved out here 5-6 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Once we were up and running. Adam used to come and play down all the time. We've seen Adam at every MoPac play down probably the last decade that I can remember. So it was good to have him finally come up here, and he's got that job that allows him to travel a little bit. So and he actually found his wife Cassie at this club. So curlers, curling, bringing people together, and hopefully forever.
For a sport that's on the rocks, you hope for love that lasts.
I see what you did there. So they tried to do the hit and roll there, and they didn't get enough roll, but this is going to give now Mike the opportunity to hit and roll. And unfortunately, they've got that high yellow guard out there for providing some cover, so this would be a pretty key shot for Mike.
It looks like they're kind of looking to roll under the center, which I was thinking would be. That's a shot. I was thinking they could maybe roll towards the outside and maybe kind of split the house a little bit. So if Tait does try to make that run back, they have at least an option to basically kind of force the play. That you have two options. The hit and roll here does kind of maybe simplify the strategy.
You make it. So Sean's going to have to use one of his first stones to run that center line guard back.
And that's where they're lining up. But I guess if you hit it the right way, can you possibly double out?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the double's there for sure. If Sean just hits the yellow and feels it as clean, Mike may want to throw up a kind of a guard rock on the center line, maybe biting the 12, so they shot 1, 2, and 3. Because the way those shots 1 and 2 are staggered right now, if that yellow goes away, that's going to leave a pretty exposed, easy double for Sean to get out. So Mike's going to have to put something just to play with Sean's perspective.
So they want to hit it just right of the center. They want to hit the yellow just right of the center.
Oh yeah, to get anywhere close to the center, they'll be all right. Oh, so there's just looks like just touch there, run in the middle. Yeah, just peel it out, get rid of it. Force Mike to do something. I suspect he needs to see Mike. This is Mike's first one. You see, you go a couple ways here. You could. So he's looking at the guy.
Well, they're sitting 2 right now.
Yeah.
They have the hammer, so it looks like they're trying to make sure that they can get multiple points out of this end.
Yeah, three could be on the table. That must be, part of the thought here is you could put a rock, not completely guarding the shot 2 stone, maybe just off center a little bit, just to give Sean something to look at. You could potentially get 4 or guarantee your 3, but it looks like they're just trying to do the guard. And if they can nibble it, just put this rock just up in the house, that's going to be a lot of pressure.
And this is Mike Siggins, his team, the 2019 U.S. Club National Champions. They did play in the pre-trials for this Olympic cycle, Team USA.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were.
And they also competed in the challenge round 3 times. That is the qualifier to get to U.S. Nationals. Especially since they, for the U.S. Nationals, they stopped doing regional playdowns. Almost 8 years ago. It was before I started curling.
So here, this could be a bonanza. If Tate's hitting this right, I don't think all 3 go. At least 2 go.
So it looks like if Tait executes his shot well, it's almost going to be a deuce.
Yeah. Well, they're going to want to hit this a little bit on the low side because the rock that they're going to hit needs to go to Josh's left. So that it rolls out all the way to Josh's left and running that other rock just to hit that one that's on the left. It's a big shot. Let's watch it.
Bit of a fishtail.
Yeah, that's exciting when that happens.
Swoopers are going hard.
Hard for line.
Looks like he's going to hit on the left. Got 1, got 2.
Not a bad result. Just an easy drop for 2. And I say easy because the famous last word, all you have to do is hit the tee line.
But you have almost the entire house to play with.
Right. Yeah, you'd be surprised how elusive that is at this level. Your nerves get a little jittery, the sweepers get a little complacent, whatever. Just think about the golfing analogy. Statistically, do you know what the most practiced shot is on the putting green? Or say a John Mickelson or Nicholson?
No.
It's the 2-footer. Because you and I think, 2 feet you should be able to hit that like 90%,
That's
right?
A gimme.
It's a gimme, but they practice that more than anything. So the putts that they're trying to get that are 30 feet away, they realize the percentage of them getting that slow. So like if I miss that one, okay, but I'm not going to miss the 2 putts.
Well, this almost was a gimme. It's a draw. It looks like they pulled it, but like after it settled in into the 4 foot for the deuce. And so that brings that gives Siggins 2.
Yep.
So now they're up 4-2, heading into a 5-minute break.
Yep. 5-5 break stretch. Yeah.
So I've got to maybe walk around the room and see if we can update the scores. Hopefully the mic will pick it up.
Sure.
And then I'll take a brief break. We'll be right back.
That sounds great. Yep.
Looks like Daryl's got some pasta maybe to dig into. So
I didn't know where that came from. I thought that was for you. You're more than welcome to have half of that or all of it.
Well, yeah, just dig in handfuls and stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
So if you want on the side, handful one. All right. So I'll do the update, and then we'll be back in just a moment here as curling continues from the 2022 MoPac Men's Club Playdown. And also definitely thanks to Daryl for joining us tonight. So sheet A is a game between Team Mendoza from Hollywood Curling versus Team LeClaire from Coyotes. They are just starting their 5-minute break. And it looks to be, aside from a single point from Mendoza in the first end, it's all LeClaire starting a quartet of singles. So it is 5-1 LeClaire on sheet A. Sheet B looks like they just are now going to the 5th end break. Sheet B is a game between Fleming of Coyotes and Team Spangler from White Country outside of Sacramento. Looks like it was trading ones back and forth aside from perhaps a blank, or actually it's just all ones. So Fleming scored in the even ends, and then Spangler's been scoring in the odd ends. And with the 5th end being odd, Spangler put up a single. And so it's 3-2 Spangler over Fleming. Sheet C, is the feature game. Siggins just put up a deuce to go up 4-2 over Team Tait. Coyotes, they're both the Coyotes. It's a Coyotes clash on sheet C. And then sheet D is Team Raju of Lake Tahoe Epic Curling versus Team Basrak of Park City. And this is the hammer shot coming now from Team Basrak. Looks like he's drawing against some 2 yellows from Raju in the house. And we're going to see how it's going to settle down. It looks to be a little hot, unfortunately, and it's going to probably go through the house. And it does. And so that's a steal of 2 for Team Raju. And it looks like Raju's been having a pretty decent game today. Heading into the 5th end break, it is going to be a 6-2 Raju over Basrak on sheet D. And so all these games, the scoring is going to be on our, it's on a sister club's scoring website called Bonspieler.com. Bonspieler.com, say Bon. We'll be back in just a moment here as our curling coverage continues.
I got him as like a sticker on a ring too. I'm 65. We actually have I'm like, it'll peel off. I don't want to do it. We actually have a bunch at our house. We bought a bottle. Don't stop. Okay. In the morning. Just what is that? We're good to go. Just do all of it. I haven't tasted it. Slept for 3 years. Like, now it's like, after mom's work, I think guys, 4 or 5 minutes or 4 with this one.
Rocks in play. We are underway here in the sixth end, where Team Tait just they looks like they have a guard, and Team Siggins went into the house, or maybe not. It's hard. I forgot the first rock. I should have been paying more attention. But this is your announcer Ryan, being joined again by Daryl Horseman from Coyotes.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching.
So this is a Coyotes clash between Team Siggins and Team Tait. And it's been super close right now. Siggins kind of may have opened up the scoring a little bit with a deuce here in the fifth end. We're now in the sixth. And just also as a quick reminder, live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 19 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, where we're at, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you, or for help getting a club started in your community.
Absolutely, yeah. We're MoPac's one of the fastest growing regions in the USCA, in the U.S. So there's so much talent in the West. If we can get a few more dedicated clubs, even a few more arena ice rinks that give curling a go. No shortage of talent out there for sure.
And there's a lot of passion. There's 4 places like Canada and the Upper Midwest, curling is kind of part of the tradition, and so people kind of grow up with it. And here, I think in the West, it's a lot of newcomers and a lot of new people to the sport as well.
No, absolutely. Yeah. They only get to watch curling on the Olympics every 4 years, but of course with being in the West, there's still a lot of transplants, a lot of transplants from Wisconsin, from Canada, from all over the place. So, and there's, every time I do a learn to curl, I'm amazed with how I guess I'm becoming less and less amazed, but there's so many clubs curling in the U.S. That I never knew what it was about, and I'm so happy I'm doing this, and I watch it online all the time. Hey, I get it.
So it looks like Team Tait wants to take out the red that's on the edge of the 12-foot.
Yeah, this is going to set up Tait really good. If they can hold this position for the next 6 stones, the 2's back on the table, and they'll be able to tie it up here after the 5th end break.
They have a split house right now. The stones are relatively level to each other, so they're very difficult to double out. Although, if you had a Kevin Cooey, perhaps you could try the very thin double.
Well, yeah, and that's actually a lot of people would go and hit that one on the end of the 12, just roll in, and try to get it closer. So at some point, potentially have a closer double. They're trying to get to the low end of the low side of the rock, cover a little bit. Doesn't look like it's curling enough.
They're trying to make contact.
There we go. That's another strategy too, trying to get that rock further away from yellow. So now if Sean hits that, they got to roll 3 feet further to get it over to the behind cover. But still, even if they roll it a foot to the right, you want to try to keep it much bigger than the 2 yellow rocks.
So yeah, so now Tait's coming down, and they want to hit it on the right side to roll away from their other shot.
Yeah. So again, Sean to try to curl that over.
Nose hit.
So now, as you can see, as that rock gets further and further left on the sheet, the double becomes a little bit more in play.
So it looks like they're setting up not a lot of speed or not a lot of heat with the shot. They just want to stick around. They want to roll, but they also wanted to curl. So they wanted to curl across the center of the stone, hit it on the right, and then roll further to the right with the shoot.
Yes. Looks like they're going to get this right on the beat, which is fine. It's going to force Sean now to do the hit and roll. Because at some point, Mike is going to want to throw the double and get rid of those 2 yellows.
But as the stones are getting closer to each other, yes, it makes the double more likely, and also because they're trading hits back and forth, they're kind of building a ladder almost, like you're kind of step by step moving up towards the top of the house. And this is going to be Gary McKnight, I believe?
Gary McKnight's first rock, yep.
Yeah. And so in addition to playing in the Northern Ontario Tankers back in 1992, which I won't tell him was almost 30 years ago now. He was also in the 2014 and 2015 Northern Ontario Senior Provincial Playdowns. I won't tell him that was 7 years ago. He was also the 2016 and 2017 Desert Ice Champion. That's a Bonspiel here at Coyotes.
Yeah, it's a flagship spiel, yeah.
And then he also was a 2018 MoPac Club Nationals Playdowns runner-up. So basically this type of event just 3 years ago.
Yep.
And so it looks like they traded hits again, and let's see what this shot from Adam Endicott's going to do. It's been hit and roll, so.
Well, they're almost stuck on each of them. So really, Sean has to roll now.
Yeah.
Or else those yellows are going out the door.
It's fascinating just how these rocks have just been slowly getting closer and closer together.
Right. What kind of glacier movement. So you're going to want to.
I mean, it's almost tectonic the way these rocks have been moving.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, and again, you know, if you're Tait, if you don't really want to blank this in, but you don't want to take one. So, you know, if they blank now, they're going to want to blank probably 7 and try to take 2 in the 8. But, you know,
and it's another roll this time.
Finally, we got the roll. And there, Josh actually should have. He should have kept sweeping a little bit more behind cover.
Yeah, so it's not covered at all.
The shot was made and you swept it and you just kind of walked away. And, you know, you really, you know, as a sweeper, you know, if there's any new players watching, you really have to stick with that rock and don't stop moving. Lots of things that could have been moving without Sean for calling sweep the line. I think Sean was worried about the roll.
And I mean, it's different eyes, so it increases the complexity just a tad.
Yeah, different line. Yeah, they've thrown the shot, you know, 5 times already. By each team.
And here we go. Mike Siggins is first.
Yeah, fun fact about Mike, he started as a flat foot curler, and he was hurting his knee too much, so he had to modify it and go to a tuck. You normally only see people going from a tuck to a flat foot delivery.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's had no problem with that.
So it looks like in terms of what he wanted to accomplish, checks all the boxes. He got rid of the yellow.
Yep.
Rolled back towards the other yellow.
Yep.
And so now it's going to be on Tait to kind of repeat what his Spice did in the last shot. Hit and roll back towards the right, hopefully under the cover this time.
Yes. Yeah. Or even at this point, since we're getting in the later in the end, even if he just hits and rolls and leaves it where Mike can't hit and roll, and if he just forces Mike to hit, then the 2's on the table.
Here we go. Tait's first. From our view. Mission accomplished. Now they're sweeping it. Hopefully get under the cover.
Yeah, nice shot. And that's even though it's behind the tee line, it is behind cover. This is going to force Mike to throw a freeze. Or, okay, so here's what he's trying to do now. And this is a good thought process by Mike. You know, by hitting that yellow and rolling in, you're forcing potentially Sean to hit for his 2. You know, whereas and it's funny, a lot of newer curlers, they always want to throw a free shot. The freeze is the hardest shot in curling. So it's not your go-to. So Mike looks like he's going to try to hit that yellow, roll in. If he gets a bonus freeze out of it, then great.
I play lead, so it's like freeze is more in my wheelhouse than like a double takedown. So let's say Siggins has the shot lined up. I take the step, not stepping quite. He was about to step in the hack. I think he's about to end the hack now. And here is his last rock here in the 6th.
Should be fairly routine. I know he's going to want to roll in, but even if he just nuts it, that's fine. So a nice hit and roll.
Yep, hit it on the right side. It's actually, if they can roll it on top of the yellow, it didn't get much of a roll.
Oh, that's still pretty good though. That forces Sean to hit it now, because now Sean has to hit and stick, or Sean hits and rolls out. Then it's advantage, Mike for holding Tait to just one. That's going to really kill Tait's with hammer percentage.
It's a pretty open house though, so I mean, if it rolls just a little bit, he should be fine. Also, he doesn't want to hit it on the left side and possibly jam on the yellow.
Correct. That is in play. Here you'd want your sweepers to sweep in front of this rock all the way down, keep it clean. So it looks like Barry's doing that now. That's a little bit of tanker trim.
Disaster.
Yeah, it went from, that's a 3-point swing. Happens. But again, that's, at this level, the adrenaline, did he set it out just a little bit?
So just a quick thank you to all the volunteers here at Coyotes. It takes an army to get a game going. Especially, basically ice techs for making sure the ice is well kept. I haven't heard any complaints about the ice.
No, I think, typically before an event like this, we would have flooded a couple times. But the consensus from the players and from the ice guys was let's just leave it the way it is, because the ice is running pretty good, the speed's really good. Let's not change it to something that we can't manage.
And thank you also to the volunteers who are helping to time the event. We are playing USA Curling National rules, so that means we have 38 minutes of thinking time per team. And so that means someone has to keep track of how much time each team is using, and then we have 4 volunteers each game to make sure that happens.
Yeah, it's the spirit of curling is alive in Arizona for sure, and it's so important that when people spend a lot of money to get here and to enter the event, and it's important that the host club, whether it's our club or a gold club or any club, puts their best foot forward and tries to make everybody feel at home and give this event the respect that it deserves.
I mean, this is a top caliber competition that leads to a national championship.
Right.
And so, putting your best foot forward, exactly.
Right.
Also, just a thank you to Ken Pomeroy, the head of the competition committee for MoPac, for helping to organize this. There's a lot of moving pieces in terms of the number of teams competing, making sure that we have a draw schedule and setting times that work as best for everyone as possible. Traveling, making sure that people are traveling, getting their game the way that's fair. All the teams are on the ice all the time, so they're not necessarily having like an 8 a.m. game. Yeah. There's some draws out there where you get the 7 a.m. draw or the 7 p.m. draw. The draw schedules are probably a nightmare. But yeah, I think the Ken and the organizing the draw schedule did really good. With 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock draws. Yeah. It gives you lots of time to go back, have a team meeting, have a good a nap, and get some food in you before your next draw. So. And also not playing 3 games in a day.
Right.
The women had to do that last weekend, and it definitely, you could see how just the wear on the
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you're trying to be on, for 2 hours, three games. It's mentally draining, you know, let alone if you're the front end and you got to sweep a ton of stones.
So looking at our feature game between Team Siggins and Team Tait, both the Coyotes, they are trading hits back and forth here.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a reset, you know, for Sean. He's not going to want to, you know, the scoreboard might dictate that you would try to score, take one here, and kind of get back within two. But I think he's feeling pretty confident that things. They haven't been playing poorly, you know, so for sure he can get two in the 8th, maybe steal or hold them to 1 in the 9th. So that's probably the thought process for Sean here. Looking around the other sheets, we've got some updates. You've got Leclerc 5-1 against over Mendoza. They're in the 6th, of course. Spangler from Wine Country over Fleming. They're at 3-2 for Spangler. And of course on sheet D, Raju from Lake Tahoe and Bassrack. It's really close actually. It's 6-2, and I say relatively close because if you look at Bassrack's line scores was actually really good for them.
Yeah.
You know, so congratulations to Greg and the rink for persevering and learning as much as you have in the last couple of days. So way to go.
And I updated the scoreboard on our sheet. I pushed the wrong buttons. It is 5-2 Siggins over Tait on sheet C. It's the sheet you're watching. And also, speaking of the live scores, we are keeping track of the scores on bondspieler.com. Get the whole spiel on bondspieler.com. And it's another hit. And we have a clean house now, so definitely the blink is very much on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's for an end plan. They were probably thinking hard blank. You know, let's not take any. And again, you know, the scoreboard being what it is. There's some teams that would opt to take 1 or try to take the deuce and give up the hammer and 8. But I think this is probably the right call for Tait.
Both teams, I mean, we're playing fast, so that means they can bank some additional time for the remaining 3 ends.
Right.
And that could also be a factor because Team Tait has just over 17 and a half minutes, which it should be plenty.
Should be plenty. Yeah.
It's with the 4 ends remaining in the game. We're halfway through the 4 ends remaining. So it's over 4 minutes per end. So he should be fine, ideally. Also, both teams have a timeout per game in regulation.
Yeah, Sean, during regular league play, he is known to get a little chatty. He can get a little Kevin Cooey on things and maybe over discuss some stuff. So. If the end gets too complicated, so yeah, I think you're totally right here. If you can bank a couple minutes, then great. Then great.
And talking about Bassrack's performance, we are halfway through our competition. 7 draws, so this is the 4th of 7. And so just to look at the leaderboard. Just because people don't always have access to the leaderboard. So Coyotes, we have 2 teams or 3 teams that are 3-0.
3 teams, yeah.
Going through this.
Leclerc, Siggins, and Tait are all 3-0. I want to say Mendoza's 1-2 from looking at earlier.
That's correct.
Raju, I think, is
Raju's also 1-2.
1-2. Yeah, so I think for sure this is a from a leaderboard perspective, it's a big game between Tait and Siggins. So if one team's obviously going to stay undefeated, looks like there's shakes on sheet D with Bassrack and Raju shook. Not sure if there was it looks like there was a steal of or 3 points there, and then the 6, so it's 9-2. So I think they've said, you know what, we've learned enough for today. So good on Team India.
Raju now goes to 2-2 on the event, and can remain in the hunt with 3 games to play. Here comes the next rock from Team Tait.
Okay. Okay, Mendoza, we just got an update. Mendoza took 3 in the 6th. Oh, good. That's a really good showing for Mendoza. They're playing against Stephen Fleming, another Coyote team. So
Mendoza's playing with Claire, I believe.
oh, I'm sorry. Yep, you're absolutely right.
But Mendoza's 1-2, so they have a chance to draw even at 500 and just kind of start to kind of muck up the middle of the table here.
Yeah, and be a little bit of a spoiler.
There are 4 Coyotes teams in this field, so it definitely seems like the Coyotes teams are kind of rising to the top of the table, at least early in this event.
Yeah. So to update that, it's Leclerc is at 5-4 against Mendoza. So that's actually a lot closer than I'm sure the odds makers in Vegas would have suggested today. And then and then Fleming and Spangler on sheet B is holding at 4-2. Looks like Spangler just stole the last 2 points, so looks like Wayne and company have their hands full. You know, fun fact about Jason Halleck, the 3rd for Wayne. He actually is in a Foo Fighter cover band, and he does the David Grohl part. Because if anybody knows who David Grohl is, Jason looks just like him. So he plays the drums, plays the guitars, and sings "Hero" like a Dickens. So yeah, I think at our next spiel we'll have to book him. I think.
So it looks like Siggins is trying to set up a kind of an end game for this end, as it were. Oh. They are sitting second shots. This is Tait.
Yeah. So it's back.
So Tait has the shot rod, but there's a red that can be run back.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get just out count that second shot. So if they get full 4, they're starting to curl now. Looks like they may over curl. Even if they rub off that second shot, that's not so bad. Looks like it's going to come up a little light.
Yeah.
A little light. Are they going to bounce off of that?
Not much.
No, that's that's why they give you 2. So
well, and they've done studies or math where like you have a much better chance of making your second shot than your first.
And this also does. Looks like they're just trying to. Adam's indicating he just wants to do a small tap on that, just promote it up a foot to be shot. That's really going to score the scoring area for Tait. So taking, we do have a little bit of wall effect here. The ice guys have worked really hard to work it. So on the outside sheets, it does curl in a little bit more than on the outside. So taking 4 feet, 3.5 feet. So Mike maybe set it just a little bit.
Well, and that tap would also just really kind of turn the screw, as it were.
Yes.
And really force Tait again to try and just take the table 1.
Yep, absolutely. And the tricky things with these taps is you don't want to tap your rock, to shot, and then leave the rock that you used as a double. Like this here is not a bad shot. It's a great result. Is the double there? Josh and Sean are gonna have to look at it.
Looking at it.
So it's a little. If you just feathered the rock Mike just threw, the double is there.
And get the deuce, and really kind of get Team Tait back into this game.
Yeah, and the problem here, I'm glad Josh walked away from that. I talked about gear effect. That yellow-red rock at on the center line are perfectly set up for gear effect. You never want to use an opponent's stone to help you out. So could you even? You might be able to hit that shot stone just on the high side. If you were hit it on the left side of center, so that it goes out to Sean's right, or sorry, to his left, and your shot rock could actually catch on Mike's rock that he just threw. So the twos, it's tricky, but the two is still here.
If you do like a back 8 or back 12 back line draw, and just get around the center guards, and you have to throw it enough weight to move the shot rock out of the way, but also to curl around the guards. So the back 8 back line, I'm not quite sure what the exact weight should be. But
it almost looks like if it was me, I'd be throwing a hack weight or board weight shot. I think you can get that shot rock out. Even if you just feather, just paper past the shot 3, I think you're okay. The rock is an 8 foot. Now this here,
and also you don't want your shooter to roll too far. That's also the last part of this tricky equation.
Right. I'm curious about this.
That looks to be like back 8 weight. In terms of where he's putting the broom.
Unless he's thinking they can just paper those 2 guards up front. Here it comes. It's starting to curl.
They're sweeping it hard now.
Yeah, see if they can punch it out to the right.
It looks pretty close. Looks pretty good. He's going to tap it.
Not enough.
Oh, goodness.
Did they happen to get one out of that?
Looking at the overhead, it looks to be yellow in just the one. But Tait's getting back on the board.
Yeah, that's an interesting play.
Part of the curling at this level is looking to see which shots are going to be effective or not. And this may be there may have been a shot to try just to see how effective it was going to be. And
right.
In this case, it pushed the shot rock away, enough so that they could get one, but they left a possible second point, perhaps, depending on how if they chose another option.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, when they do their team talk and they review the video of this, would they go back there and maybe err on the side of taking that on, Mind you, getting one at this point, again, not bad, and some teams are just better at stealing, so maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable not having the hammer, and their steal game is on point.
We're underway in the 8th end.
Here we go.
It is a 5-3 game to Siggins over Team Tait for now. Another 3 ends to go if we go the distance. Again, this is an event that leads to a national championship, so we're playing 10 ends. However, thanks to the spirit of curling and deciding you can resign when you've had enough, you can choose to resign at any point of the game. Although, again, the spirit of curling encourages people to play a reasonable amount, not to play a couple ends. It's like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
People came here to play, and so I think we respect that, and the teams are respecting that too.
Yeah. At least play at least 6 ends, or 60% of the play. I was just looking at your legs. I wasn't worried about that. They're pretty sexy.
We have some of the teams are off the ice, and so they are in their non-curling gear, which includes shorts apparently.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of curling in Arizona, of course. Especially what are we mid-December right now? There's not a lot of clubs in North America that you could go curl and then go put your shorts on to go to your car.
Well, and one of the marquee events is the Golden Wrench, which unfortunately isn't happening this year.
Right.
But it is a late January event, if I remember.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It's easy game to sell, like when it's 40 below in Madison, and it's only it's a balmy 70 degrees here in Tempe. So good setup here, good two centerline guards from Tait. You know, Aronson is really, in his years of curling, really developed as a really good lead. You know, he's got a good touch, got a good feel for the game, and he's a really good sweeper. So we've got two nice centerline guards. We've got Mike just inside on that one, on that supposed to be a corner guard. So I suspect at some point we'll see Sean try to hit and roll behind that. It looks like they're trying to cover that up right now with Eric's second rock.
Well, and Team Tait does not have the hammer in this end, so they're trying to draw the play toward the center, and it looks like they're succeeding so far.
Well, yeah. So that tap kind of helps out Tait now. So if they get a nice hit and roll to the center, and this is going to be sort of that wall side, so expect it to curl a little bit more. Looks like they are taking the in turn to it, so trying to fight the curl a little bit. Should hit and roll. And of course, you know, for those curlers, you know, who maybe don't have a lot of years in them, how you hit the rock, you know, there's the live side and the dead side. So you know, coming in with this curl, the rock is going to have a kind of a flatter, more dead bounce than if you came at it with the out turn, because it would have less energy. And it looks like that one just a little tight. Yeah, I cleaned out one of their perfect guards, so I'm sure Sean's going to have words for Josh at some point.
There's a sign in the club talking about the tips on how to build a better team, and one of the it's all tongue in cheek, but always reminding the team of how he or she screwed up the shot. I think is one of the points on
yeah, and yell it down the sheet. Yes, yeah.
Because they appreciate knowing that they missed a shot.
Yeah.
Especially because they may, and I guess the joke is they may have not known they missed a shot.
Well, yeah, it's super sarcastic. That poster is actually hanging up in the Halifax Curling Club. And when I was there for an event a number of years ago, it was Rick Lang and Hackner, yeah, who made that. And so at the home club there in Halifax, it's actually a 4x8 banner. So I thought, well, that's going to come home with me, because there's 10 points on how to make a great curling team, and one of them is get the 4 best skips in your club to form a team. Like, what could go wrong?
It worked for Inerson, so
true. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And the other one is like be sure to remind your teammates of how precarious their position is on the team, and that they can be cut at any moment.
Yeah. Every shot's a tryout. Yeah, absolutely.
Which, given how competitive curling has gotten at the Olympics level, that's almost become a truism.
Yes. Oh yeah. And you mentioned last night with Darren, leaving Team Botcher, and I'm sure this week there'll be a few more teams, and of course right after the Briar, there could be another fire sale of player switches.
Well, also for Canada, it's a lot easier to change teams than it used to be, because you can have one transfer in from outside the province, and then you can also have education, which is how Rachel Holman used to be able.
You can thank Rachel for all of this. All of this, yeah.
Because Rachel Holman lives primarily in Ontario, but she competes out of Ontario, but she lives mostly out west.
Yes, in Alberta, because that's where she's going to school. That's where her husband's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I think when those rules first changed and everybody was pissed off, I wanted to say I was in agreement with them, but I think though it really has forced a lot of the Canadian teams to put really good teams together, and I think that's been exciting for the game.
And also, like in the lower levels of competition, you've seen some situations which can be like not so great. Where I think all of New Brunswick were a bunch of
Maritimes,
a lot of people who were who were born there and moved away, coming back and say, hey, we're back, we're gonna be your team, and then just like mop the floor with the competition.
Right. Yeah, it does cut both ways. Yeah, you're not wrong there.
And then the other thing is like Nunavut, they brought in Lori Eady,
Right.
Who lives in
2 girls in the game.
Yeah, who lives in Ontario, but she was able to kind of build some buzz for Nunavut to kind of show to show that Nunavut can grow the sport.
Absolutely.
And so you see kind of the pros and cons. I guess like with a lot of changes, there's not like a universal good or universal bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And good teams will just react and adjust and keep being good. So kind of an update on Sheet A. It looks like Bob and the team of Claire took 4 against Mendoza. So it's now 9-4 in the 8th end. Fleming and Spangler, now they're all tied up, 4-4. They too are in the 8th end. So 2 nice close games right now.
And then on our feature sheet game, it looks like Tait's Feist is about to deliver his last shot.
Yeah, there's a scary absence of yellow rocks on the sheet.
There's 3 red counters and nary a yellow. Actually, just 2 red counters.
Yeah, but there's, if you're yellow, you're trying to steal here, so you don't have anything set up for a steal.
They're really talking the shot through.
So they're gonna have to hit and roll. They got to try to hide something right now.
And Tait's back in the house, about to put the broom down and hit and roll, as you called it. And this is
there's some people, we'll check the chat, but there's some people think that it's maybe a little too early to come into the house. Maybe Gary should throw one more guard. Because this is, I don't know if this is Gary's first or second.
This is last.
Oh, it's last. Okay.
Or because they don't have the hammer. So this is his last. And so if you try a different type of shot, it really forces the skip to make something out of maybe a lot of nothing.
Right.
And in this case, the hit was made, but it rolled open to the left.
The only good thing about that is that it did roll closer to the shot too. So that's going to force Mike to try to roll it back where it was. If he nuts it again, just like we saw a couple ends ago, this is going to force, or maybe give the ability for Sean to double out and maybe hold Mike to 1 or the blank.
And here is
Adam's first.
This is last
one.
Yeah.
The battle of the thirds here. This one looks like it's not heavy. Oh, it looks like it's picked.
Uh-oh.
It's curled. So decision time for Tait. Does he guard it?
He can't. He could try and make a play on the red on the 12-foot, and then be sitting 2.
Yeah.
But then it's a possible double.
Yeah, that's placement here is critical right now. Yeah, like if you don't want to be greedy, like if you can steal 1 here, that really is a win for Tait. You don't need to. While stealing 2 would be great, you take your 1 and you be happy. And Mike's he's not scared to hit. So if this thing is within 3 feet, if these rocks are 3 feet within each other, Mike's for sure going to peel them both out. So.
Well, I was thinking if you wanted to be a little devilish, you might try and go under the cover, but the cover is not there. It's not theirs, so you don't want to go under the cover and sink put a shot.
Right.
Because then red could run it back.
And then if you miss it, you're 3's back on the table for red.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important to get a nice guard here. Even if he leaves just a nibbler on the just touching the 12 is fine. Looks like it's good weight. Looks like Gary's sweeping quite a bit. Looks like it's not going to be heavy.
No, it looks like it's going to be maybe a 2, a middle guard.
So not bad.
Closer to 1.
Not bad. There's still enough curl. It's still, you'd want that a little closer to kind of take out that swing from Mike. But with intern board weight, you should be able to get down to the nose of that yellow.
It looks to be about maybe a 3rd open. So they should be able to do like a heavy draw, tap that out. And it looks like they're setting up for that, just based on where Endicott has the broom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're going to try to get to the nose, or even get to just hit on the high side, tap it out, and they can roll cover here and say, Sean, come hit us, because then Sean's going to have to do the perfect hit and roll. So 2 is really looking good here for Tait, or sorry, for Siggins. You're watching it. There's no brooms down there. She goes now.
Yes, it's curling up.
Yeah. Gonna roll out. Is it gonna roll out? No.
It rolls to the back of the 12 foot.
So that's why in this situation here, that's why you wanted to have, Gary's last one be a lot closer than out there. Yeah. Now we're right back to where we were, 2-3 rocks ago. So at this point now, Sean should hide around, do something T-line, hide around right where Josh is putting his broom, and hide.
What about trying to almost corner freeze to the red and the left 12 foot?
Well, again, corner freeze, it's the hardest shot on the planet. So you either make it or you give up 3.
Well, and also I forgot that there's that high guard now.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah, that does make things a little bit difficult. You could hit the shot rock on the 12 foot on the left side in front of Josh, and that looks like what they're looking at. If they hit a little low side, they could roll and maybe sit on top of the rock that's behind the cover.
Okay.
That would be a good result.
A cross house roll.
Yeah, or if they could hide behind their yellow.
Yeah.
Or if it hits a little thin, they can roll all the way to the other side.
But also, it gets rid of a counter. So
Yes.
it could take the 3 off the table, although they would be giving up a deuce. And here is the last rock coming from Team Tait, Sean Tait.
It doesn't look very heavy, so it looks like they're maybe just trying to draw, just a simple draw.
Maybe and around the guard.
Yeah,
Needs to get there.
That's a gutsy call.
It's not heavy.
Yeah,
Needs to get there.
That's the problem.
Come on, lads.
That's the problem. So at least so he's not shot rock.
Actually, looking at the overhead, it looks like it could be yellow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to measure.
It's
But regardless,
close, but
it is partially buried. You should be able to see some of that, whether or not Mike can hold his shooter. So for sure, 2's on the table. 3 might be if he gets the weight right.
Well, and also it's on a similar line that he just threw, and he would probably throw similar weight. And so this could be setting up just if he executes this shot as well as he did the last shot. That 3 looks like it could be served up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
But here we go with the hammer. Last shot here in the 8th net, pardon me, is Mike Siggins. Although they're thinking about it. Well, he must have ended up to bring back down.
Probably looks a little different when he got to the hack.
Yeah, it looks like the rock that he's playing on is about 2/5 buried.
Yeah, this is a big shot. Even if Mike takes 2 here, he's going to put him up 7-3 going into the 9.
Needs to clear the guard. It clears the guard.
Wow.
And it jams on the back.
Crazy turn of events.
So, talking about 3-point swing.
Yeah.
That was at least a 2-point swing.
Yeah, that's almost like 3 putting. Kind of getting back to our golf analogy. So yeah, Mike's gonna, that because that could have put the game away right there. You'd be up 4, 2 ends to play.
And so I think they adjusted the weight because maybe not exactly confident of being able to clear the guard and take out that rock.
True.
And so I think he threw a lot more weight at it
Than needed.
Well, at least like I said, I play lead a lot of times. So it's like, you don't need that much weight.
Right. Wow, that's still lead. This is going to be critical. And now I wish I had Gertzy on the line right now to look at Tait's with hammer percentage. Looking at looking at the line scores, Tait has not scored a deuce the whole game. So that would tell you statistically, getting a deuce this end, it's going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take a little bit. It's not off the table, but statistically, Mike's done a pretty good job keeping him to one. So this is a must-make deuce for Sean and the team.
And maybe the first shot is the lead for Team Siggins. Again, that's Aaron Cole. And it looks like they are going for a guard.
Oh yeah, this is going to be centerline guards. So another strategy that gets used here in the U.S. quite a bit is trying to put something on your first rock, split the 8 foot on the tee line. So it kind of guarantees a force. So
this is Sean Aronson.
Yeah, Mr. Professional lead. Yeah, he's got the touch for sure.
It took me a while. Jeopardy did curling questions, and they said, he who is without sin throws this rock.
Cast the first stone.
Cast the first stone. Yeah.
Well, we can tell which one of us is Catholic, I guess. Yeah.
But it took me a while. I was like, what is it? Oh, it's lead because they throw the first rock.
Right. So interesting play here. Mike's electing to clear the guard so that Tait doesn't have anything to hide behind. Of course, Sean's asking for a second guard, and this here, with the 5 rock rule, there's 2 ways of doing it. I suppose you could throw up your 2 corners and then try to loop around it. Some people try to throw up the 1 corner and then
like staggered offset guards on the same corner guards on the same side.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Although it looks here that they're going the opposite direction.
Yeah, and it doesn't look light. They're just looks like Josh and Gary just walking the dog.
That's a slow dog.
Yeah, well, that's what we call it here when you don't have to sweep and you're just going for a walk.
Yeah.
You walk the dog.
I called it like an honor guard procession earlier.
There you go. All right, so we got the corner guard. So textbook curling, check.
So do you think they're going? It looks like they're probably going to draw around, or do you think they're going to try and tick it off to the side?
They're far enough over there. They're not going to worry about the tick.
I mean, also like a tick on, kind of ticking towards the edge is kind of dangerous with the corner guards, I would think.
Oh yeah. Well, with the corners, you would only play the tick shot if you're playing doubles. So it's a regular discipline here. So this is going to now give Sean an ability. Sean should leave that one alone and sink one behind the cover. Yeah, there he goes. Looks like he's trying to draw around.
And this is Josh Lewis with this is first, I believe. Again, a nice walk in the park for these sweepers.
Yeah, walking the dog. Yeah, it's nice when that happens. It looks like it might overcurl just a hair.
And indeed it does.
It needs to stick around. There we go.
It went behind and came out the other side.
Yeah, poked out the other side. So it is going to leave a hit for Travis. Looks like that's what they're going to do here. And of course, the miss here, if Travis is going to nick that guard as he goes by, that's not the worst thing. That'll give Tait an ability to either replace it or. Looks like it's not.
The other thing that comes to mind is that playing towards the wings at this level of competition, you expect.
That's the first flash that I've seen this weekend.
You expect competitors to be able to play to the wings reliably at this level of competition.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At a lower level, if you have less experience, it's easier to play towards the center because push out towards the center.
Right. Yeah, a lot of newer curlers don't practice, shooting anything on the edge of the 12 or mid 12.
When also on dedicated ice, it's also more predictable, I guess.
True.
But in this case, unfortunately, that was a flash, so that does open up the Tait's a chance to make something, get something brewing in this end.
Yes, they need to get that in. Fortunately, they had Siggins on the hook, then they let him off the hook, and so this is going to give them the ability to try that shot again.
Yeah, looking at swings of the pendulum, it swung towards Tait, and now it's swinging back towards Team Siggins and Adam Endicott.
Yeah, it looks like Adam's a little tighter here. It looks like he's going to make the shot all right.
Just going to clip it on the edge, which is, they don't want to stick around.
There we go.
They could have stuck around.
They could have stuck around. So now Sean should leave that one alone and draw in.
They're contemplating a hit and roll.
Yep.
Which is they don't need a lot of roll because they, that red right now is just to the right of the cover.
Yeah, but just thinking about the end that we're in, the makeability. What do you think is easier, just drawing in or doing the hit and roll? I guess it's a bit of player preference, but obviously you have less things can go wrong with the draw. And then he could have left that easy hit for his last one. Because right now he's got nothing in play. I think they're sweeping pretty hard.
It's curling. It's curling up okay. I think maybe it's more of a weight situation. Oh, it's over curling.
That's a big miss right there. He's going to stick around.
He's going to stick around back to the 8.
Well, that's a really good miss, I suppose.
At least in the 12th, but yeah.
Well, remember, if you're Tait, you're trying to score 2 here.
Yeah.
You have to score 2.
Yeah. So rocks in play is to his advantage.
Totally. Yeah. Even though they're back 12, it does force Adam to play against that wall side. It is going to curl more than.
And there's that guard.
Yeah. Is that guard going to come into play at all?
The rock is curling. It looks like it's probably going to get around the guard. It's close. Just right past it.
It's sweeping by the front end.
And not sit the shooter.
Well done.
So now we're kind of reset to back where we are, back where we started towards the beginning of the end. We have a couple of guards in front on the corners, and we have one shot rock top to top center roughly.
Yeah.
And so it looks like they're going to try the hit and roll again.
Again.
But hopefully trying to roll to the right, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, any roll is good. They do have. Fortunately, they've got guards on either side.
Yeah.
So a roll either way.
And this is Gary McKnight's last.
Yeah. Let's see if Mr. Tanker can get her done.
They named it.
For line, so you want to keep it a little on the high side. Get the roll and go.
Just need a little bit more roll, but it looks like they're about
that's doable.
3/5 open. No, 2/5 open.
2/5 open, yeah, and it is on the wall side, so the rock should be able to curl in there pretty easily. And we'll see if that guard closer to the rings comes into play, but it's good. It's going to be a key shot for Mike here.
That rock does. The rock almost looks to be more than half open.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to try and get at it.
Yeah.
And that is the only rock in the house right now.
Right. Yeah. This is it for sure will curl. It will for sure curl. Adam's just double checking to make sure the jam's not there because we've seen that a few times.
It comes up in ways that you don't think.
Right.
And then also when you try to do the draw, like sometimes you think like, oh, this is the draw, and I've had it before where I'm trying to like draw to the button and it curls past the rocks and it's great, but then it keeps going through the button to not count. Oh, that's been frustrating sometimes. But it looks like threw some pace at it.
Oh,
did
and
jam.
It did jam. So we do have a nibbler. Out there.
It does push the play towards the outer part of the ring, but now, but Tait has guards, and he has guards on both sides.
He does, yeah. And you'd almost, at this point, try to draw around the side of the house where Sean's at, just to change the narrative. So far, everybody's been throwing their out turn, with the exception of those couple hits on the outside. So, yeah, change up a little bit. See if you can sink it in with the in turn.
It's important that he has his weight dialed in, because I think I don't remember which. I don't know if it was coming home or away, but I remember on the left side of the sheet, they were trying to draw some draws and they came up light. And so just important to make sure his weight's dialed in.
Yes.
On the
absolutely.
side of the sheet.
Throw it to the sweepers, get it close. Try to revert back to your LSD shot that you threw maybe in practice or a couple days ago. But
this looks to be just a draw around the guard on the right side.
Yeah. Wow. No, they're trying to go around the left side here. They're trying to put it in front of Adam. They're expecting this to curl a good 8 feet.
Yeah, so it's across the center, and get behind the cover on the right side.
Yeah.
It looks, the line's not too shabby, but they're sweeping hard. It needs to get around those guards into the house.
There we go.
It looks like it's going to be in the house, full 12 roughly, but it's not going to get under the cover.
Gosh, this has been sort of the theme of this end, right? We just need rocks to go another 6 inches, a little bit further, just to be perfect. Just to be, like Kelly says, make it a pistol. But yeah, it's this one here is exposed.
I mean, the jam is still there too.
Well, the problem for Tait right now is that if Mike nuts this, gets it as close to the nose as he can, he's going to be out-counting that biter that's in the back. So then that's going to force Sean to throw a hack weight, board weight, hit and roll, and try to keep the shooter on board.
Well, this is Mike Siggins' last here in the 9th. Sweeper's not laying a broom on it.
Not laying a broom.
Just cleaning. Jam
Pretty
comes
good.
into play again.
Pretty good. Yeah, good attempt.
So now all Tait has to do.
Never say that in curling.
What?
All Tait has to do.
Oh, fair enough. He has a high chance of getting 2 by touching paint.
Right. Right. And that's on the teams I've been on. When I go down there to get ready to put my rock, get ready to throw, and they're like, "So just anywhere in the house?" I'm like, "No, we are going for T-line. That's where we're going." Because so many times when you say, "Oh, just touch the paint," people come up, 3 feet heavy, 4 feet short. You have to be specific. And this kind of goes back to those, that putting analogy I said, where, in the back of your mind you can think that, but you never want to verbalize that.
So very briefly, Tait contemplated looking at the guard, maybe trying to do a roll in.
Yeah, try to split it, but I think right now it's important that they get 2, bit of a momentum swing, get them a little closer. There's only one end left, so.
One's also it's easier to steal 1 point in the 10th than it is to steal 2.
Yeah, agree.
Needs to get there though.
I think they like it. I think they like it.
It's carrying a bit.
There we go.
And it's going to be there, touching paint.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do.
That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. Yeah, there we go.
4-2. So now it's a 1 point game in favor of Siggins, 6-5.
And statistically, that's the first deuce for Tait. So
that's a great point.
That's a huge momentum boost and for those guys, because it's yet to be done. Yeah, there's been only one other. Mike scored two deuces this game. So with Hammer, we would think he would be able to score 2 again. So this would be an exciting end for sure.
So two games are off the ice. Raju, as we mentioned earlier, defeated Team Bazrak on sheet D.
Yeah.
And on sheet A, they called it after 7, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like they stole 2 more in the 8th to leave the final 11-4 over Mendoza out of Hollywood. And And Fleming out of Coyotes is losing to Spangler 7-4 right now, and they are in the 9th. I'd be interested to see what their shot clock is like, because Wayne typically likes to use all of his time. I don't know how much time they have left, so that'll be an interesting turn of events. It'll be a great win for Spangler. Any win's a good win, I suppose, but it'll be
on our sheet, it seems Siggins has plenty of time, almost 12 minutes. If they use all 12 minutes in this 10 to end, I think some people won't be very happy. Team Tait, they have just under 6 minutes, and that's plenty of time to play a single end, even contemplating a decent number of shots. Plus, none of the teams have used their timeout. So generally, some pretty efficient play just in terms of time management. Tait, his first shot went into the top of the house, I think. So Siggins made a play on it and is ushering it from the house, escorting it from the premises, as it were.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, actually, it was a guard.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to put that back.
So they are putting it back. I apologize. It looked like it was biting. So the 5 rock rule does come into play. I think that's the first 5 rock rule violation I've seen on the feature sheet.
Right.
So Siggins misses an opportunity there and gives Tait a crack in the door, maybe a crack in the window to steal at least one. Ooh, a bit of a
where your nerves come into play. Yeah, absolutely. But good game out there. Yeah, so nice centerline guard for
really high.
Yeah, but that's what they need. They need the 2 centerline guards. So they can't hit it just yet. So. And this is where you start thinking about playing the ticks.
Well, then also for Siggins, they're up 1, so they don't want to get into a junk game against Tait.
Right. Yeah, rocks out front aren't their friends. Yeah, anything that can give Tait something to hide behind is not their friend.
And also they don't want to give Tait an opportunity essentially.
Right.
So just a quick reminder, we have a full slate of games tomorrow.
Yeah, do you know who's playing tomorrow?
I got that. Our feature game is going to be Fleming versus Bazrak. That is a...
yeah, right, that's at 11 a.m.
That's at 11, yeah. We start around 11:30 because the teams get their practice and last shot draws in.
Right. So yeah, we got Spangler Tait.
Yep, on A.
Leclerc Raju, that'll be a good game. Fleming Bazrak, you just mentioned, and Mendoza Siggins.
Yeah. And so that's the first draw in the morning Saturday, and then the late draw at 5:30 or so. You'll see all these teams in slightly different combinations.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Siggins and Fleming starting at 5:30, and then we got Bazrak Mendoza, we got Raju Spangler, and then Tait Leclerc.
And then after that, we'll have just one regular draw to finish the round robin on Sunday morning, and then tiebreakers should they be needed in the late morning, early afternoon. I have a flight at 9:30 or so we need to end at a certain time.
Yeah, and I think we got a learn to curl, and we got a couple leagues happening at 5 o'clock as well. So let's. I would think based on unless something really odd happens tomorrow. I'd be surprised if we need a tiebreaker.
Well, like we were talking about, like the Coyotes teams are kind of rising towards the top, so you could have a bit of a logjam at the top of the table.
Well, true. Well, Tait, one of the Coyotes team is going to drop right now, so that so let's say Siggins wins this game, that's going to leave Leclerc and Siggins both undefeated. Looks like. Spangler may drop Fleming tonight, so it may just leave Leclerc and Siggins at the top. So I think if you were to look at Mike just keep the rock, just move it back, it's fine. But I think if you look at the seating, I would imagine Mike and Bob would be 1 and 2 seed going into this event anyway. So,
although there was no seating done, just officially, but you kind of scout the teams, and that's fair. Everyone, people in the know do that.
Yeah.
But just in terms of saying the draw, there was no seating done, as I understand it. Looks like you're going to make a play on
start peeling, huh?
Yep, on the center guards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I do have that one in the back 12, which is good. So, Sean, we should see Sean throw up a couple more guards before he decides to come. Whoop! Okay, he's deciding to come in right now. So again, it all depends on your player preference, and if your coach has got high blood pressure. Might determine what shot you do. But yeah, it's a little too early to come into the house just yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to just get Mike to throw a few more peels.
Well, and this is Tait looking to put the center guard back up.
Somewhere in front there, it looks like it's a little warm. Maybe you want to
maybe do a little hit and roll action.
Yeah, roll off that yellow they've got.
Gonna kick the yellow back.
Well, how is that angle?
Well,
the angle's not bad. So even if they're gonna have to smash that rock pretty hard, and it's likely the rock that was just thrown by Lewis will stick around, but it offset enough that if they smash it, they should clear both those yellows. Curling in enough as it knows it. Shot. And almost gets the one to back.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, that was talking about that gear effect.
Yeah.
The gear effect was there,
But also, when rocks are wedged on, the angles at which the rocks can go off at is very limited, right?
We have to think about that. So, like as far as it's staggered.
So if you had one rock frozen on the other, basically the energy that there's only like one point where the energy would go into primarily when you hit a rock onto the other. No, okay.
No. Yeah. So if you have two rocks here that are gear effect like that.
Yeah.
And let's say you want this rock to go here, you would hit this rock right here. And typically what you do is you line up the thrown rock and the second rock to where you want it to go.
Okay.
Or if you wanted this rock to go here, you want to hit the rock here. And then this rock will go right there.
I was just thinking of, think your kinetic energy in the life.
Yeah, sorry for those not here. We just did a little kinetic energy rock drag analogy description on a sheet of paper, but it's a pretty fun little piece of science to have in your back pocket.
On some Newtonian physics, that Ripper did not get out of play.
No. And it's going to get a little complicated here at some point where we do have two red cards out there, plus one in the house. So you would throw one more, Sean.
Although they've cleared most of the centers. There's only one left.
Yeah.
And then you have two other guards. One's not really guarding anything. I call that like a cockapoo guard. It's like like the cute little
right. Yeah, I get it.
This is a guard dog. This guard dog's not guarding anything.
Yeah, a cockapoo guard.
All right. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
A Shiba Inu.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like I see, he's trying to pull on the center line.
I mean, they have one in the house, and so that when they choose to go in, unless Siggins makes a play on the rock in the house, they have some options.
Yeah, it's almost interesting why they would want to. Like I know, all the textbooks will tell you to put up a center line guard, but you could have this one left of that red center, just to protect a little bit of that counter in the back. That could be your your point that puts us into an extra end.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
I don't think we've seen an extra end so far in this tournament. So the center dart was, they put up another center. It looks to be just to the left of the center line. This is a great opportunity to let you know that this broadcast is presented by the authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. If the Mountain Pacific Curling Association verbally says okay, that is not written consent. So, and we are consent positive, but it has to be in written form. So they're thinking about this, Team Siggins. So they're up one with the hammer coming home.
Yeah.
They have plenty of time, so I don't think they've called a timeout. I think they're just, and then, you know, they could also be discussing the weather. It rained last night.
While they're thinking, you know, do we clear now? And is there jam potential? So, it looks like they did call it a timeout there. Sean Murray's coming in from outside. Yeah.
I apologize. I just thought, you know, they had 12 minutes. They could have had a tea break and then called the timeout. Room's down.
They say they're going to try to clear this out.
And this is Mike Siggins's. No, this is
Adams, yeah.
This is
Adams' last one.
Yeah. So also a great time to call the timeout.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I think maybe what they're worried about is maybe the jam, because that yellow could on the red stone.
Because like sometimes people wait too long to call the timeout, and they made some contact, hit the yellow onto the red. The red is now in the. Oh, the red is actually being ushered from the premises.
There we go.
Just like staying too long at Cluck Night at Johnny Margarita's, a restaurant I just made up.
Johnny Margarita's. I think I would go there. I think that sounds like a good place. Probably got a killer happy hour from 4 to 7.
I mean, it's Tempe. You think there'd be? I mean, I'm sure there's margarita places, but not as cool as Johnny Margarita's.
True. All right, so looks like Tate's gonna try to put one again, center line.
So they want to control the center, but they do have one in the house. Would it make sense to try and like put you know, if they're going to throw for a guard, maybe make it like top of the house, a wider, or even just a little high on the left side, to kind of, or is that just forcing play into the house when they don't want to?
Well, you know, they have that other red guard out there. Mm-hmm. You could. Yeah, there's a lot of options here. You could sink one in behind that guard, maybe just touching the top 8.
And they draw it on the left, yeah.
Or you could put one, top 8 center line, force them to try to hit. Maybe ask Mike to try to do the double. I think where they're trying to just put the center line guard back up in play, and then hope Mike doesn't loop around. But obviously at this point, Mike would just Mike's up by 1, so he doesn't. Watching this one. Looks like it needs to curl a little bit. Here it comes. Looks like it's a fine shot by Mr. Tait.
Well, the other thing about going to the left side is that you're also kind of cutting off access to that left side, so it's making the shots like trickier.
Right.
But like you said, Siggins is up 1, so they don't. As long as they have that draw or like an easy shot near the button that could go 1 or can prevent a steal, then they're golden for the most part.
Right. And that's and with that yellow rock, of Tait being at the back 12, this whole end, that may come into play.
I haven't seen too many of Siggins' shots go deep. I think his weight's been pretty on this entire game.
Yeah. I don't have a percentage, but he's got to be upwards of 80% for sure.
And just for those at home, because they never explain it on TV broadcasts, in games where they're scoring, each shot is scored on a range of 0 to 4 or 0 to 5, and then they take a cumulative average of all the shots, and so an 88 or so, that means that he's making more than 4 out of every 5 shots.
Right. Yeah, shot perfectly made before, shot not really made at all might be a 1
or a 0.
Or a 0. Yeah, if it hurts you for sure.
And then for a skip, because of the level of difficulty that they're making these shots, sometimes you either make it and it's a 4, or you miss and it's a 0.
Yeah. This one's looping around. It does have the legs to get there.
Looks like it's going to be in the house.
But is it going to be for shot?
It's going to
not.
Yeah.
It is not. So if you're Sean now, you need to loop one around, put it in the top 4 right now. That's the only play. Well, I won't say the only play. That's what you got to do right now.
Well, basically, both teams are down to their last shot. It's the final countdown.
Oh, I see what you did. Yeah. Where's my synthesizer?
It's guitar night at Coyotes.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. So Sean for sure needs to pull one. Well, I guess you got 2 options. If you're Tait, you can try to guard it and force Mike to, throw a better shot. Mm-hmm. You do have that one that's shot right now, so if you're Tait, but I think I don't think Tait would want to steal here and give up the hammer. Mm-hmm. I think if you're Tait, you go for the win. Mm-hmm. Try to draw around, force Mike to outdraw you.
So Team Tait is down to about 90 seconds. They have not used their timeout, but they're not going to.
Well, this would be a good example of taking the timeout now. Just so you get into the hack. It's a big shot. Take a minute. Take 10 seconds to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, also once you get in the hack, maybe they're waiting to see. It's like we're getting into the hack. Okay, this is totally different than what I was thinking was going to be. Call the timeout. But it looks like he's in hack, and then Sean Tait with his last. He's got one in the house looking to.
And it's interesting that they're coming around with his out turn. I'm not sure.
I think they're going to try and draw through the ports of guards on the left side.
But you've got 2 reds and the yellow, so you've got a picket fence you got to go through. Mm-hmm. Whereas on the other side, you've got 10 feet of open ice.
They're going hard. It looks a little light. It is over curling. It's over curling. So, but actually, if they chip the yellow, it does make the shot harder for Siggins, but it's just going to be a draw. And they just need to basically touch the 8 foot. All they need to do, they need to touch the 8 foot, and they will secure the win.
Yeah, that's an interesting shot call. It'd be interesting to be sitting around the Broken Broom Lounge. They're doing some fist bumps out on the ice, so maybe that's what they were calling.
Or maybe they were looking perhaps at the plan B, and that's the plan B.
Yeah, maybe.
Here we go. This is the last shot.
Yeah, last shot. All you got to do is just. Oh, and I almost said it myself. Yeah, you got to hit the tee line.
Sweepers are on it. Weights, it's looking pretty good.
Looking good.
It looks like the weight's pretty solid. It's curling it up pretty nicely. Oh, the brakes hit a little bit.
Just got there. Yeah, just got there. A little bit of anxiety in the warm room there, but nice draw by the skipper. And that was sort of the benefit of why you threw that first shot the way you did. It gives him the practice for his second draw. So, yeah, good close game.
Indeed,
good close game. There's lots to talk about on both sheets. But when they do their team debrief, there's probably 5 or 6 points left out there tonight.
Mm-hmm. On just some of the swings, where an unfortunate miss led from a potential deuce or more to a steal for the other team. So on our feature sheets, it's Team Siggins who continues his undefeated record. Both of these teams were undefeated heading into tonight, right?
Absolutely, yep, absolutely. So the Tait's going to drop to 3-1. So Leclerc and Siggins will go into tomorrow. So another big game for Leclerc tomorrow. By tomorrow night, we may have a clearer path for sure.
And so just looking at the schedule for tomorrow, Leclerc is playing Team Raju in the morning, and then in the evening, it's going to be a battle between Leclerc and Tait. So Tait could be playing spoiler, or depending on how the morning shakes out, it could be a game to kind of muddy up the middle a bit more. For Siggins is going to be playing Mendoza in the morning, and we'll be facing Fleming in the nightcap on sheet A.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, it'll be an exciting Saturday. So
we hope you'll tune in to the MoPac YouTube channel. Just another friendly reminder that live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you, or for help getting a club started in your community. For us here, they started a club. It's been growing, and to the point where they're hosting a great competitive bonspiel, and having 4 teams in it, very much in the thick of it.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's been exciting to see the club grow and the passion, and then the level of curling exponentially has grown year after year. So I think the younger curlers that come up, because we've got I don't know, 5 or 6 U5 teams. So they're going to be coming up the ranks, following in some good footsteps. So.
Well, and that's going to do it for tonight as the warm room erupts in the conversation.
Right.
But thank you so much to Daryl Horseman again for being here tonight. Thanks to Coyotes.
Thank you, Ryan Olson, for coming all the way from Utah to get all this done and working through our technical glitches there early on. So thanks for all your hard work as well.
I appreciate it. I've said this is an ongoing experiment. I'm so happy this experiment's been successful so far, with some minor glitches, but we hope you'll tune in tomorrow for the next great test in this ongoing live streaming experiment.
Absolutely.
We'll be with you at 11:30 a.m. Again, the game is going to be Fleming versus Basrac. And so for all of us here at Coyotes Curling Club and MoPac, this is your announcer Ryan signing off, saying good night and good curling.